Welcome to a very gloomy day at the RV park. Also, that won't stay down. Oh well. Last week, I shared the pros and cons from over 20 work campers that sent me stuff. This week is going to be things that they wish they knew before work camping, questions to ask, and I'm going to add horror stories that they have in this video as well. I was going to do a separate video, but not everyone sent me questions for this topic, and not everyone also sent me horror stories. I'm just gonna combine them into one video. But if you're new, I'm Bryce. My husband Chase is right there.
Hello.
It is raining, so hopefully y'all can still hear me and all that stuff. We've been full-time RVers for almost 5 years this coming March, which is absolutely crazy. Chase is a traveling welder and welds on various power plants, refineries across the country. Usually we travel to his jobs for work. This fall, if you've seen our video of work changing, all that stuff, and I am actually work camping this fall, which is completely different than anything I've done. Usually I've worked with Chase in the past as his firewatch/helper. So I'm gonna leave a link to that video below because that's a great way to make money on the road, a lot of hours, and you can take time off. This video, and then I'm going to do one more work camping video, and it'll be after I am done with work camping, give my honest thoughts and all that stuff. And at the very end, I'm going to give an update of what's been going on with us. But in no particular order whatsoever, here are the work campers that sent me things they wish they knew beforehand in their perspective and stuff. So number one is Heather and Cody from Gypsy Hustle. I will also have everyone's social medias linked down below, and the ones from last week as well, because some of them didn't send me stuff for this week. They said the things they wish they knew. For them, shorter commitments around 3 months work best. After that, we start to feel burnt out and ready for a break. And honestly, we did run into some drama with other work campers, which made things uncomfortable at times. Where you work is also where you live. That kind of tension is not fun. Meaning, if you don't get along with your coworkers, they're also your neighbors. She says, I have a tiny bit of "are you mad" PTSD, but I thought we were going to get fired like 3 times. We had a hateful coworker who just hated us and complained about us. I think she hated us for no other reason that they were younger. Our boss was bipolar. I think she would lash out at me, only me, Heather. And then Doc, their dog, jumped on him another time, and he freaked out saying that's how you get evicted. It was so crazy, and then the next day everything was fine and dandy, and they asked them to stay longer, and they got a bonus and incredible letters of recommendation. So it was truly just an odd experience. Jess and Maddy from our Wandering Pack, they said, so I have everything on a Word document. We wish we knew how important it is to clarify every detail before arriving. Hours, duties, hookups, all of it. We didn't realize how different each role could be, or how quickly you can burn out if you don't block off time to rest. And the balance between planning ahead and staying flexible is huge. You need to look for positions early, but also be ready to change plans last minute and grab an overnight site when the plans shift. Sam and Jules, they have quite a few horror stories, but they said questions to ask. How many hours of work am I guaranteed each week? That is important. Are there penalties for leaving the contract early if there is an emergency? What all is included with my campsite, i.e. like electric, propane, Wi-Fi, sewage, public facilities? How many staff do they have return each year? Horror stories, they have quite a few. They said for the past month, the main road into our campground has been closed, adding about 45 minutes to everyone's drive. It's online, in reminder emails, even updated in GPS, but we still get told daily we need to do a better job fixing the public roadway. Nothing like greeting a tired camper and being blamed for the state of local infrastructure. One job at an RV resort was a nightmare. They were hired about a year in advance by a staff member who didn't work there anymore by the time they arrived for work. When they got there, it was clear that they were deceived, and a lot of the things they had asked about in advance were answered with lies. Our hours were cut almost immediately. We were separated based on gender, women in office, men in maintenance, with no options to rotate as we were originally promised, and the actual park operations were in shambles. The owner came in from out of state on the very first day and was yelling at us and the other staff members, telling us that he would come after us legally if we failed to charge every guest an early check-in fee if they arrived before check-in time. He was very rigid on this rule of no refunds at any time for any reason, which got the ladies in the office yelled at daily, especially in cases of people with future reservations calling months in advance canceling over an emergency or death. Still no refunds. We'd never go back. Another one. We worked at a popular primitive campground in a national park where someone repeatedly used the restrooms in the public showers. We were working there for about 6 months, and it happened at least once a month without fail. The worst was when it was clear they had tried to stomp it down the drain. That's nasty. One more. Sam was working in agriculture last summer and was told he'd be working 8-hour days all summer long. He was prepared for an insane amount of overtime, and because of that, Julia, decided to stay home from work and take care of the camper, dogs, projects we needed to get done. Turns out, because of the rainy seasons the farms were having, Sam only ended up working a few days with that many hours and actually rarely even hitting 25 hours a week. We had traveled across the country to get to this seemingly lucrative job and were struggling to even buy groceries on this very few hours and little pay. We wish we would have asked more questions in advance about guaranteed work. Next is Amanda and Jeff from Just the Two of Us RV. They are also Canadians. Really a case-by-case basis, but expectations are different everywhere, and making sure you get it in writing before arriving and then feeling obligated to do extra because you're already there. Horror stories. We don't have many, but when Amanda was notifying a guest who was unloading wood for a week-long camp into another site that they had not booked until the following day, so someone else had booked the site and would be arriving to a week's worth of firewood in their site. The other site had also encroached on the site one space with their outdoor carpet and chairs. Amanda politely asked them to move their items, where they then gave excuses as to how it's just for one night and what's the big deal. Amanda then stated that they paid for the site, again met with what's the big deal. Amanda then stated that if the firewood was there, they may assume that it's theirs and use it, and that was on them. Then the men started to raise their voices, saying that was stupid and was just for one night. Amanda started to walk away, and they yelled after her, saying, "That's right, just walk away." Jeff then approached and said, "Would you talk to your wife that way?" They quickly changed their tune and moved their items and wood to their site. People will just... if they don't think that no one's there, they'll just encroach, and if you didn't pay for it, it's not yours. Stacey from On the Go with Jewison said, "You have to be flexible at whatever." She was a social media event coordinator. She was the only one that was work camping. Planned a big grill out, and it rained for 4 days straight. Had to change the event. Things like that happen a lot. Also had to change events last minute because I knew a lot of workers/people were leaving for a last minute extended weekend. All right, Lana from Lana and Lily Explore. She is a single work camper. A lot of work campers drink and party a good bit. As someone who tries not to drink, my friend group is always limited. Jobs can be very cliquey. Think high school days. If you don't fit in, it'll be obvious. Traveling is a bug, and at this point, I don't see myself stopping. Friends and family back home probably won't see you. That's a hard pill to swallow. If you're not there, you're not on their mind. Family ages. Mindsets change, and for people who don't travel, it's kind of hard to explain how you feel sometimes. She says, "Tell me why I have a ton of horror stories." So she was at a golf resort in far west Texas, and she said, "Long story short, I was hired to work in two different departments, RV park and gift shop. Little did I know the manager of the departments were married and couldn't figure out my schedule. Plus the OG lady that worked in the park didn't like women. None of that was super fun. One day it was about 80 degrees and the power went out. Like a normal dog mom, I said I was going home to get Lily and bring her to the office. I was told no, and I responded with, well, I'm going home to take care of my dog and I'll be looking for another job elsewhere. They paid me for that day, and the manager of the golf course said I can come move to his department and bring my dog. So I said, okay. Well, lines got very blurred. I made it crystal clear I was not interested in him and I was just going to work for him. Well, that bit me in the butt as I was flirting with a non-worker at the bar. And guess what? The next day I was told to leave and I was fired. Best job ever not. That place is the absolute worst, and the whole HR team is a joke. None of them has any experience with HR except for working there and getting a label on their desk. She said, I know that's a mouthful, but Lord help, that place just makes you regret work camping in general. Kelly Banks from My 500 Square Foot Life. She's also kind of like in my situation where her husband works, he commutes to his job, and then Kelly work camps. She said, things I wish I knew. How far in advance some of these locations need to be scheduled. Not every location wants a solo camper. Horror stories. Quiet hours? ? Some people just don't get quiet hours. Get drunk and play cornhole at 2 a.m.? Yup. I didn't order all those drinks. Even I was at the swim up bar for 12 hours. She works at an RV park, very nice RV park, really big one too. It has like a swim up bar, pools, all this. It's really, really nice. And she's told me some crazy stories of people just getting drunk. And Tina and Eric Nichols from Nomad Nichols. Tina is the one that worked camp, same thing. Eric, he works remotely. She said, my work camping advice would be, don't forget why you started doing this in the first place. For me anyways, I like to work and have a purpose. Jennifer from Learn to RV, they've been work camping / camp hosting for almost 5 years now. She said, I got tons of things I can say, lol, horror stories about fire pits as trash cans, including one that was heaping full of food, and the camper told us that they were leaving. Sorry we didn't get a chance to burn it. How about that time a camper came to me, asked about checkout time, asked about staying another night, no availability, and then straight up asked me, what happens if we just don't leave? Things I wish I knew was an accurate description of the workload. Many places give you a fluffy version of what you'll be doing, and you don't find out until you get there what you are actually doing, i.e., restrooms. Oh, she said, here's another good one. That time we caught a couple teenage boys fishing for ground squirrels. For real. People. Heath and Theresa from Nomadic Nappers. They said the most important is to make sure what being a 1099 employee means to you and your finances. Most people don't understand the tax implications of not having taxes being taken out and being a subcontractor. That's very important. I am no tax expert. I am being W-2'd at the KOY I am working at. Like I said, I'm not a tax expert. I don't know what you can write off or whatever. You just need to talk to your local tax expert. Read the reviews. They are most likely very true. When we were at one of the campgrounds, the bathrooms were very bad. Cleaned very little. Also, the campground flooded twice while we were there. I mean, major floods. The campground was 9 to 12 feet underwater at times. Some of our other things to watch out for: gauge the owner / manager and their political / social beliefs. While we can get along with everyone and don't mind what others believe in, if someone is way too far on one side or the other, make sure you can handle that and don't get offended. Another is get paid for all hours worked, not a combined effort of the family as one. Meaning, I've seen a lot of ads for work campers saying that if you work 20 hours, you get your site for free. But a lot of times they're meaning like a couple working a total of 20 hours. So if like Chase and I were at a place and they said, you all need to work 20 hours, it's I work 10 and he works 10. So make sure you're very clear on the hours and all that stuff. Lastly, electric and utilities. Ask if they cover it. If you can get charged, you can get charged a lot of money in a hot summer with 3 AC units running full blast. Yes, this has happened, lol. Amber and Dee at the Veteran Nomads. Top 5 questions we wish we'd ask, and that they ask now. They said, what's the flexibility around medical appointments? We always ask up front how flexible the schedule is, especially since my husband has a lot of medical appointments. Knowing they can accommodate that gives us a peace of mind. Can we arrive early or depart later if needed? Sometimes travel plans shift, so we ask if there's wiggle room on arrival or departure dates in case we need a little more time. What kind of amenities or attractions are nearby? We like to know what's around the area, whether it's grocery stores, hiking trails, or just interesting places to visit on days off. That helps us plan our downtime and content. Are there opportunities for extra hours or different roles? We sometimes ask if we can pick up additional hours or try different tasks. That way we know if there's a chance to earn more and learn new skills. What are the exact job duties and expectations? We wish we'd ask for a super clear breakdown of tasks the first time around. Now we make sure to get a detailed list so there's no surprises. They said, when it comes to our work camping horror stories, they're not the wildest tales out there, but they definitely taught us a few lessons. They said, in our first gig, it was less of a horror story, more of a messy situation. There wasn't much organization. Everyone was kind of just winging it. We ended up volunteering a lot of extra hours. And while some people pitched in, others seemed to give us a bit of attitude, maybe because it made them look bad. We definitely learned that having clear roles and expectations is super important. Second, we were in a really well-organized spot, but they had a catastrophic flood. That meant we had to be relocated to a less than ideal area and ended up commuting when we weren't supposed to. They did compensate us, but it was still a bit of a hassle. In pretty much any work camping situation, there's always some drama or gossip to navigate. That's just part of the experience. I didn't get a lot of things we wish we knew or questions from a lot of work campers. Like last week, I think I had over like 20 people. But these are still good things to know, really good questions to ask. One thing I wish I would have asked, and it's totally fine, I kind of did a video on it, is the schedule. If you've watched any of our recent videos, you know my schedule has changed just about every week. I think a total of 2 weeks back to back have been the same. And I don't know if this week is going to be the same or not, because the schedule is from Saturday to Friday is the schedule. I work Fridays, so I don't know what my weekend schedule is going to be like, and it is currently Thursday. I know I go in tomorrow from 4 to 8. Last week I went in Saturday 4 to 8 and Sunday 1 to 8. Like, again, I'm saying I'm not complaining. I'm just being upfront honest with you that my schedule has changed a lot. For me, I was totally fine with only doing part-time, so that way I had time to do YouTube and other things as well. But my schedule has changed, and it kind of makes it difficult to go out and do things and plan ahead, because some things you do need to either like purchase tickets or plan ahead for stuff. Again, I'm not complaining, but if you are in my situation, make sure you ask, like, hey, do a lot of people take time off? Am I required to fill in those roles when people take time off? That's just one thing to keep in mind. Update on what we're up to. Work. Babe. We've been doing, poor Chase, we've been dealing with a lot of visa work stuff for Chase for a job that's coming up for him. And it's just been a lot. Like, we have been stuck in the camper, finding paperwork, sending out paperwork, and then miscommunication on not our end, but the people who are wanting stuff. They want it one way. We send it to them, and they said, no, we don't want it that way. So it's been really fun. So hopefully soon we can do more exploring or what have you. But honestly, that's just life. Sometimes it's just a lot of work and no play, or very rarely we are playing. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. It is free. Once we hit 2,000 subs, we will be doing YouTube lives once a month. So you can ask us questions about Chase's job, what we're up to, RV questions, live questions, whatever have you. If you like it, please like. It is free. It would mean the world to us. Yep, we will see y'all next week. My next work camping video will be at the end of when I'm work camping. So next week, I guess we'll just see what happens. So see y'all later. Bye.